Well, Dwayne, did you get any feedback from the real guides and how we, you know, do they have any comments about how we did yesterday?
Uh, I wouldn't say it's about comments, young man. No, you guys did great. You know, they're just they just stand back, and it's like watching kids at the playground.
That's about what it was.
It felt like a playground. We were really having fun.
Well, I get it. I love this stuff myself. I've done so much of it, and if I were there, I would do the same thing. And that is that, yeah, I may write a group here, you know, spies at the seminar, and so go over some of the things that you said, and we'll condense that a little bit. We'll have another radio show tomorrow. No, it's really cool that you see all this and you had the courage to step up and talk to people. And it's, you know, probably a lot of those people don't even know what they're doing there.
They don't. You know, this was the comparison between the new UU and the Eckists and the seminar. That, I mean, it was so different. So it was so there. This seminar, going to the seminar, not being an Eckist anymore, it was so low in vibration. So the people are walking around like they don't know what they're doing. It was just different. I didn't like the feel at all that was there.
Well, it was in a way, it was like it didn't matter what age these Eckists were, but you felt like you were in a nursing home for the aged. You know what I mean?
It did feel like that. There was no energy.
Yeah, it was like people. It was instead of, you know, looking forward to, you know, better things. It was like, well, we're going to die now, and that's going to be it. You know what I mean? That seemed to be the energy level of everybody.
Yeah.
Well, you kids have good for you that you're doing it. And again, I always like these things. I always put myself right in the middle and just see what's going to happen. You just start to go do it, and as you do it, it becomes kind of contagious, right? You just start handing all this stuff out, putting it everywhere, and seeing if they'll catch you or who will say what. And it's a little scary, but it's kind of funny. Yeah, you did great, and you took pictures too.
We did.
Great. Well, we can. Ava and I will, you know, make those up a little bit, and we'll put them out again. Something like Spies Are Us, you know.
Yeah.
Well, the first security guard that came along, I took a picture of a security guard. You know,
Yeah.
I was expecting him to pull out the handcuffs, but he sat there and smiled while I took a picture of him.
I said we're making memories.
Yeah, we're making memories. And he was happy to oblige. He let me take a picture of him. And then a little bit later on, there was a whole bunch of like 10 or 15 security guards headed over to the convention center as they were getting ready to start letting people in for the talks. And so we got some of them on camera too.
Yeah. Hi, how you doing?
Yeah. We didn't have to run.
Are they Eckists or are they just a regular security?
I think they're just the hired security.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they had the gray uniforms on. The Eckists that were security, you could tell they were walking around with their three-piece suits and the ear thing in their ear, listening to instructions or whatever, and they were kind of puffed up there.
Yeah, Sandy said as one went by, his neck was stretched out about a foot because his head was so full of eagle that he could hardly keep his head on his shoulders.
But I was surprised, though, this year there were hardly, I mean, compared to other years, there were not as many people at the talks or at in the halls like there usually is. The only time there were a lot of people were to hear Harold's talk, and then they opened the doors actually at 5 o'clock, and he was talking at 7. And and I know I talked to some people. He says, "Yeah, we've been here since 4." And I said, "Yikes!" So
Well, and what really kind of surprised us was, you talked about us inviting people out to a restaurant. Hardly,
nobody wanted to
no,
go.
I don't think there was. I mean, even when we went out to eat, I mean, there was hardly any Eckas. That we ran into a couple groups in one restaurant, and after we got done eating there, we stopped by another restaurant, and we went in under the pretenses of looking at the menu, and
It was Ping's. The
And-
second restaurant was Ping's.
yeah, Ping's Chinese
Chinese.
restaurant. And in the past, that was always standing room only, and there was only maybe
And you had to have reservations.
and there was only like in this whole restaurant that held I don't know, maybe 150 people. There was only maybe three Eckas in there, and the rest of it was empty. There was nobody else in there. So we went over there, and on the counter we laid out a bunch of Rebisar's
Well,
pictures.
there was a kind of a rolled up program, Eckankar program, like they pass out. And so I stuck in the awareness test and Rebisar's picture there, and then we stuck a couple more on the leather seat that was in the window for people to sit down and read while they're waiting for their table. So we stuck some there.
Yeah, but as far as inviting people for lunch, I mean,
They either had something to do, they were eating stuff that they brought, or they weren't eating at all.
yeah,
It was weird.
it was very different than we've ever seen it before.
There were a few in the Hilton at the tables in the restaurant, but there was a big, oh, this is an interesting thing. I picked up some pointers. There was an Alzheimer Mardi Gras at the Hilton.
Oh, tell us what this is for.
Yeah, this was
Oh, wait.
Alzheimer.
Yeah, but instead of just going into it, say that you saw something that will
Are
help
you
toward
telling me what to say?
I am. Tell them. Sandy found something that would be very helpful as a fundraiser
I
towards the
said it would be
for the tree-
helpful to bit now.
for the tree project. You
Yeah.
never said tree project.
Well, honest to Pete. Well, anyway, a benefit concert they had, and they laid it out so beautifully. They had like three parts to it, and they had a dinner for everybody. They had a Mardi Gras ball, and people came in costumes for the Mardi Gras ball. I saw quite a few. And I talked to one gal after, and she she was a volunteer, but she headed up a lot of the project itself. And she said, I don't have time to talk to you now, but here's my email and my phone number in case you want to get a hold of me. So I took it. She works at Freighters. I assume that's a hospital, but anyway, so that I will get a hold of her. But they had, I asked how much their tickets were. They were $150 a piece for the benefit. That included your dinner and the dance and all. And they had a middle table set up with a beautiful big fountain. We took a picture of it, and food all the way around. That was for the Mardi Gras ball. And then they had something called a gobo. And this was it transferred a design onto a huge curtain. And we could do that with a big tree or something. You had it made.
It was just like in the old Batman movies where when the commissioner wanted to get a hold of Batman, he shined this light up on the clouds and it showed a picture of Batman. Well, these gobos do the same thing indoors. That they shine up against the wall and will project like it's
a curtain.
Or a curtain. It'll project about a 25-foot diameter image of whatever you want. So
it was beautiful, really. They had a big butterfly type that they had used, and you can get these gobos. They're called made, and then there's a big projector with a light. Maybe somebody knows that already, but I thought it was a good idea. And then they had a silent auction too, in all different categories: house and garden, sports. What else did they have? You remember? They had quite a few tables, and
I would say they probably had half a dozen different topics.
Mm-hmm. And then you would walk around, and they had little computers for each that you could bet on. By the time we got there, all the betting or the auction was closed.
Well, what it was for each of these half a dozen different subject areas, like sports or
House and garden.
house and garden and all these different topics. For each one, they probably had a dozen items that were being.
I counted 18 on one
on-
table.
Okay, so maybe 15 or 20 different items being auctioned by it wasn't really a silent bid, but they were being auctioned off.
Yeah, it was silent auction.
Well, I didn't say who it was that was bidding, but they were auctioning off all these different, up to 18 or 20 different items for that subject. For example, in house and garden, one item was a snowblower, those type of things, where somebody in the community would donate that thing, or one was like dance lessons,
Yoga lessons.
yeah, value $270, and they would tell you the value of what it was, and people would bid on it. And we were looking at the computers when the bidding ended, and a lot of the things came out where people, especially in house and garden, they bid like double the value of something just to donate toward the cause. And other areas, like the dance and stuff, yoga and all that, came out about half the value. You know,
but still, it was donated.
But these people donated money toward that cause or item, and it was really a neat way to do it. You know,
they had a beauty category also, and there were massages that people had donated. There were spa treatments, tanning treatments. There was stuff from like Bed Bath and Beyond, or some other type of place where they donated product. And they got, those were bid on also, and they had good outcomes on those. And I just thought it was a nice way. It was set up so beautifully, and their design and their decor was gorgeous. So it was something to think about. I know we're dealing with the children and stuff, but we still can do things with the parents on that level, that way to do it. In order to bring in some money for charity. Partly because they're checking you at the door. And although we had our name tags on, and I did wear kind of a filigree top where you really couldn't see my badge that well. So I had to taken it out and show it, and I wish we could have, but their security was tight in the rooms and any other function you wanted to attend. And I kind of didn't want to, since I was kind of going undercover, I didn't want to blow it where, I could put more things out and talk to more people.
Did you meet close friends of you and that they were astounding what you are doing now?
Yes, I did. And one in particular basically walked away.
You're the friend from Texas, right?
Are they afraid?
Two of them, a friend from Texas and one from Arizona, walked away.
The one from Texas knows you.
Yeah.
And she was not interested.
Oh, Ava, she said she knew you. I forgot her name now. I thought
Was he a little bit black?
No,
Nice.
not this.
Many know me.
Yeah, she first she took the picture of Rebisar, and how nice and everything. I said, yeah, and Ava, Sherry did it, and she goes, she actually threw it back at us. I don't want that.
Yes. Was there noch more people saying about Ava and Dwayne, sie know, or?
Just a couple instances, and that was it, Ava. I didn't meet anybody else that knew you. So I don't know if they were, hiding or where they were. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they know your art and they saw the picture and scooted on by.
Okay.
But the people absolutely loved your picture. I talked to one gal in the What room do you call that? It's not, it's the light and sound room, or not the light and sound room, where we saw uh, your friend.
You mean the support for
Yeah,
mission, equipment and support
equipment
meeting
and
meeting support room.
meeting support room. And I talked to a gal. She was actually from Pennsylvania, but she originally came from Africa. And I gave her Rebisar's picture in the awareness test, and she was thrilled. She was the one who was watching all the meeting rooms and set up. She had a big computer spread of every meeting and what was going on in each one. And she just talked and talked and talked, and she's had a lot of experiences with Rebisar. And she was just enthralled with everything I had to say and about the new UU. And Bob called me away from her, and she kind of got mad that Bob called me away.
Yeah, I was trying to get Sandy to help me find somebody that could talk to Harold about making sure he followed through with what my Saturday morning discussion was, and
But she wasn't done talking to me.
yeah. Well, it'll make her hungry to find out more, won't it? I would say when we were there last year, I think they had attendance around 5,000 or 6,000, and I would say it was half of that this year, if not less.
You know how you usually have those big groups of Africans and everything? This year, they were a few groups, and that is it. And they didn't have as many in the group. You would frequently see one African sitting alone. It had the African dress on, and the hats that they wear. Or you'd see an African in a three-piece suit. I went and sat down and talked to him where people were waiting. But they were few and far between this year. The halls that you normally, excuse me, I'm coming through. That didn't happen this year. They were what I would almost consider empty. I mean, granted, you had trouble finding a seat at one of those round tables that were out, in waiting
in the
hallway. But there were not the people that there usually are. There weren't lines anymore. There used to be a line to the bathrooms. There wasn't that anymore.
Well, the thing that I kind of noticed was when we were there last year, they have different rooms that they reserve for these different, like, round table talks and all that stuff you're familiar with. And then they have a meeting hall where they'll break it up into different subjects to where they, like at 2:00 they'll have maybe 4 or 5 rooms set aside where they can accept as many as maybe 500 or 700 people in each room. Well, and they took up both floors of the convention center last time we were here.
Yeah, last
and
year.
This year they only took up about five rooms on the first floor, nothing on the second floor at all. And it was just amazing how little room they were using in the convention center this year.
I saw nobody running to a round table like you usually see. I want to get there so I get in. I saw none of that this year.
Yeah, there was no rushing. I mean, we didn't stick our head in the door of any of those, but it just, I don't think they filled any rooms, with more than maybe 100 or 200 people in a room. So I don't know what the bottom line was, but it, just from what we saw, it was practically empty.
And if they tell you, if they report higher numbers, they're lying.
Yeah, I would not believe a report. If it comes out and they said, well, there's 10,000 people that made it, it probably means there's 1,000 people that came.
Yeah.
So
that's what it felt like.
I mean, that's what it felt like. We don't know for sure, but it seemed like it was really, really a lot less people there this year.
Yeah, it was rather sparse compared to other years. There was like in the book room, there was hardly anybody. If there were 5 people looking and purchasing, that was a lot.
Well, in the past, when they have these afternoon events going on, they start like at, like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. They have other ones that start at 2 o'clock and 3:30 and that sort of thing. And they're usually over by 5. Well, in the past, when all these rooms were filled up, you'd still have 500 people wandering the floors, visiting with each other and going to the bookstore. And none of that went on this year. Nothing like it. There was just hardly anybody. When we went in the bookstore, there's only 2 people in there.
I didn't see an art room. There was no art room this year.
So, I mean, it's, that's what we saw. We just didn't see very much in the way of people this year compared to the past.
Yeah, there were new releases. We took a picture of it at the table where we put the book 9 and the awareness test and Rebisar's picture. They're doing a thing. I grabbed a business card with animals that you can. It's all X stories with the Eckas have had with animals. They've got an internet site now where you can look at all this. It was a cute little business card. It was turquoise with some dachshunds on the front of it, and I should get it. There were new releases with what else was on there?
I took a picture of a billboard they had of all the new things this year. I have it on camera. I didn't read them specifically, but I took a picture of it. We should be able to read it later once I download the pictures off my camera.
They put Stranger by the River on audio now, and Talons of Time is now on audio. They had a whole table full of Paul Twitchell's materials. Something to do with Song of Soul. Something. There was a new release by Harold, and I don't offhand remember what it was. Yeah, it was a book. Yeah, because it was on that table for new releases. There was new brochures you can pick up, by the 50s or 100s that you can put out and that type of stuff. It wasn't a parables. It was another one. It was different. It was, I want to say, Song of Soul or something like that. He wrote.
Well, we have it on camera.
Yeah, they had a lot of love stuff up on the where the marquees are, where you can kind of look up and see what's going on. They had other groups there. They had one on dreams, but we thought it would have been our type of dream, but it was a financial dream. And they had
it looked like Harold's really pushing the love thing now.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, the big signs, God's love, and out in front, where you wait for a bus to take you out to the temple, and they had a video, they had a computer set up, and they were playing a video, and I listened to one of his sections, and he says it's all about God's love. If you love God,
you got it made.
You got it made,
Yeah.
and it's just, I mean, it's just it's like sitting in a Catholic church, It's just so different,
It was worse than that.
Well, probably worse than a Catholic church.
The atmosphere was just it was such a downer. It was just yuck.
Well, we haven't really got much feedback, but Sandy got a text message or email from somebody we don't know.
Yes.
With a picture of him sitting there on stage.
Yeah, he looks just horrid.
Yeah, he looks extreme.
And may the blessings be.
Yeah, it looks very reptilian.
Yeah, he doesn't look too good. And I assume it was from the seminar because I haven't seen that picture of him before at all.
Is there much security in the temple area, Sandy?
Usually the people that are heading up the tours and stuff kind of play like a security. There is none in the room downstairs where you go to have refreshments. They usually have tea and sparkling drinks and maybe cookies. But there is no security, basically. It's not hired for sure. And I just know that the people who gather the people to take them on a tour kind of watch over everything. They'll have a person sitting at a table when you first walk in to the left with Eck brochures and other stuff there. But no, we should be good.
You know, you know how you know the location of the temple. They looked for quite a while to find that location to build the temple. Sandy thinks they built it on an underground access to the underground reptilian sources.
We shall see.
Should we ask him? Can you show us the entrance to the underground caverns
You
where
do that. You can go with them.
where the real reptilians are on the physical, not just the astral?
Well, that's a good little punchline to have fun with. As you're looking around the place, you're looking for the entrance to the underground, caverns or whatever, tunnels, where all the secret stuff is kept. And you just tell them you saw it in your dreams, and Harry showed you, and Harry and Joni showed you, and see what they say.
Good. Good line.
Yeah, great idea. Well, I can't, but Sandy can watch. She can actually see those reptilians wandering all over the place. I can't see them, but Sandy can. So that should take it to a different level for Sandy.
Fun. It actually was fun to just put out all of the materials everywhere.
Well, Sandy's saving the best for last. She wants to walk with all those reptilians over there. So we'll find out. Well, if you don't hear from us tomorrow night, then you'll know where we are.
Is it tomorrow night or is it tomorrow noon?
It's tomorrow at 10, isn't it, Kelsey? Yes, we're noon your time. Will you guys be back? Everything okay by then?
Well, hopefully we'll make it back tonight.
Sure, hopefully.
Okay.
Yeah.
So noon our time tomorrow. Okay.
Okay, till then.
And that's a talk radio show, right? Okay.
Yep.
All
Okay,
right.
well, thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
That was terrific, kids. Reminds me of my younger days when I used to climb trees. Yes.
Thank you. That's a vision.
Yes, it is. It's fun to do these funny things while you're here, right?
That's right.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, this is what we do. And so you guys did terrific. So we're going to take some of those pictures. And we're going to have fun. And I'm writing a group right now called Spies Like Us. Okay, so again, this is starring Bob and Sandy Staling here. So yes, we're going to make you stars, and let's see if Joni comes after you. Of course she will, but that experience, we're going to have a lot of fun tomorrow on the radio show, part 2 of your choices. So yes, thank you for creating this adventure for us. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy.
Yeah, thank you, Ava.